Hi everyone, Becky here from Notes from the Sewing Room. Thank you for joining me today. Today's video is all about 3 dresses that I think are ideal for making for winter. So if you are interested in making yourself a new dress for winter or for someone else, stay tuned and I'm going to tell you all about what I've been making. If you are new to my channel is all about sewing, upcycling, sewing patterns, fabric, anything to do with being creative really. So if that is something that does interest you, then please do stay tuned today. Press that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And don't forget, if you do press that little notification bell, then you won't miss any of my future videos either. Right, let's get to it and I'll tell you all about the 3 dresses that I think are ideal for making for autumn winter time this year. Now the first one that I wanted to share with you is actually quite an old pattern actually. It's the Friday Pattern Company Lucida dress. So I don't know if you've seen it before. I'm going to give you a little taster of this one that I've made. I will be putting in some pictures as well of me actually wearing this dress that you can see the kind of fit and what it looks like on my body, etc. But I have made this from, if I just hold that a little bit closer, it's a stretch velvet fabric. So it's not actually a fabric that I would have gone for normally, and it's something that I been a little bit nervous about stitching with, to be honest, in the past, because I thought, is it going to stretch out of shape? Is it going to suit me? I'm not sure about the feel of it, etc. But do you know what? I am so pleased that I have had a go with this fabric, because not only is it really nice to look at, it feels lovely on my body, it kind of hugs the body really nicely, and more than anything at this time of the year it keeps me warm as well, which is perfect. And this version has actually got a little cap sleeve here, so let me tell you about the pattern just in case you are unfamiliar with it. So as I said, it's the Friday Pattern Company Lucida dress. I think it's one of their older patterns. I bought my version as a PDF from the Fold line, but I'm sure you can probably get it from lots of other places as well. I think it's a great dress that you can dress up or dress down, so that's a real plus point to this dress. I think depending on what kind of fabric you make it in, then you could have more of a dressy dress, if that makes sense, to kind of go out of an evening, go to the theatre, go out with friends, go out for dinner, whatever you like to do. And also if you made it in more of a, say, a cotton jersey, then that could also be a bit more casual and you could wear it just rounded about at home, lounging around, pop into the shops, that kind of thing. But I think this is a great dress for kind of looking and feeling good whilst also being comfortable, which for me is an absolute must. I've got a toddler, I'm doing lots of running around all the time, and to be honest, even if we do go out, I've normally got my little boy with me, so it's a lot of running around and stretching and bending and all that stuff. So actually wearing something that's stretchy like this and comfortable is ideal. So as I said, it features cap sleeve, so that is the only sleeve option available in this pattern. But I think at this time of the year you can layer it up with a cardigan, you could put a jumper over the top of it. So I think you have got options to kind of keep yourself snuggly, even though it has got that shorter sleeve. At the front, it's got a gorgeous ruched detail just down here. So as you can see, I've got a bow detail just at the top here. I love a bow. So that, for me, was a bit of a winner at the top there. And then all you do to create this channel here is actually 2 lines, well actually three lines. You've got 1 line of stitching here, 1 in the middle and 1 at the side. And then you feed through these little straps that you make. I guess they're not straps, they're the ties for the bow. And then that creates this kind of ruched section at the front, which is a really pretty feature and like nothing else that I've got in my wardrobe already. So I would recommend you give that a go. It's not as complicated as you think it might be. Because this is actually ruched, you can actually adjust it as you want to. So you can make it slightly longer or make it tighter and make the neckline come down a little bit further if that's what you would want to do. Now, I would describe this as being a fairly high-waisted bodice. So it does come, fairly high up on me. I am a tall lady though, I'm 5'10", so obviously depending on how tall you are would depend on how long the bodice was on you or not. But of course, you could adjust the bodice if you wanted to fit your body type. Because I am tall, I found that the skirt on this dress, it's got an A-line skirt, which is really simply just added onto the bodice. And I found that it came up a little bit short. So I've actually, on this version, added 5 inches to the length. And I found that actually that was a good thing to do for me. And it now finishes around about my knee, just underneath my knee. I'm actually pregnant at the moment as well, so it's actually worked quite nicely for me because it's I'm not sure if it's an empire style dress, but it's not far off. So because it is high-waisted, it kind of sits above my bump, which is quite nice. And then because the skirt is stretchy, it kind of stretches out over the top of the baby bump, which is really nice. But this isn't a maternity dress, obviously, and I'm really looking forward to just wearing this after I'm actually pregnant as well. I made this in a size medium, which seemed to be ideal for this fabric, but I did decide that the second time that I made it, I was going to maybe just size down slightly just around the waist area for me personally. So this pattern is available in sizes extra small through to XXL. For the extra small, if you were making that size, the bust final measurement or finished garment measurement would be 32.3 inches according to and if you're making the XXL, the bust measurement would be 44 inches. If you didn't make any changes to the skirt length, it would be 19.9 inches, very precise. That's in the extra small size. And if you were doing the XXL, then it would finish at 21 inches. So as I said, I just felt like the skirt was going to come up a little bit short for me, so I did add on that extra length, and I'm pleased that I did because I think actually it's ideal for me. I've worn this out to the theatre, I've worn it out for dinner, and I'm looking for another occasion to wear it to next. I teamed mine up with a bright pink cardigan like this one that I'm wearing, which goes with the lovely pink in the fabric that I've got here, and some thick tights and some little pumps, which I thought worked quite nicely, but I think it would also look nice, as I said earlier, with a jumper over the top and boots and that kind of thing, and you can dress it down. This fabric, as you can see, it's this bright blue fabric with an animal print design on it that's got this lovely sort of flash of pink in there. This is from Minerva, and it was kindly gifted to me as part of their brand ambassador program, but I would buy this fabric because it's so lovely. It's washed really nicely and it wears beautifully as well. If you haven't tried this dress, I think it's a year-round staple that could work in lots of different environments. Even, you know, in summertime, if you're going to the beach, depending on what fabric you make it in, I think that could really work lovely in a light viscose fabric, as long as it's got a plenty stretch, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a beautiful pattern, and I think it's an ideal one for wearing in autumn and winter. So that's the first thing that I wanted to share with you today. The second pattern that I wanted to share with you today is actually a dress that I'm wearing. So if I just slip off my cardigan, you will be able to see it. So this is actually made in a viscose jersey, and it's a dress hack. I've just noticed, by the way, that I've got a brush or something in the background there, so I'm just going to get that out of the way. We're having some work done in the house at the moment, so we have got stuff everywhere. As you can imagine, it's quite difficult to try and keep on top of. Anyway, let's talk about the dress. So this is actually another Friday Pattern Company pattern. I'm loving Friday Pattern Company at the minute. I think they've got a real great range of patterns to choose from that work for all different body types. So this is actually the Adrian blouse. So I love these balloon sleeves. So it's got this really nice wide neckline here. It's finished with some elastic just around the top of the sleeves there, so the shoulder area. And then we've got these lovely wide arms, which do actually work underneath the cardigan as well. If you're a cold person like me, I'm often quite cold. As long as you've got a cardigan that's got a fair amount of room in the sleeve, it does actually go on nicely, particularly if you do make it in a stretchy viscose fabric like this one. I've found that it's actually fine, because in the past I've actually been put off about making things that have got more of a poofy sleeve like this, because I think, oh, I'm not going to get my cardigan on, I'm going to be cold. But actually it's fine, don't worry about it. And then it just finishes just underneath the elbow on me, and it's got a little bit of elastic around there as well, just to finish off the sleeve, which I think is a really nice detail. So for this version, it's supposed to be a blouse, so it's actually quite a cropped blouse or top. I have actually made it as a top. I've made it a couple of times as a top and love it. I have actually made the top versions in a cotton jersey and also in a viscose jersey. My preference is actually making it in a viscose just because I think that the arms probably drape a little bit better. The cotton jersey is fine, it's just got a little bit more structure to it, but both versions are lovely. But I decided for the dress that I wanted plenty of drape, plenty of kind of fluidity about it. So I decided to use another viscose fabric. So I love this one. If I move a little bit closer, because it's got a really nice flower print all over it, and really kind of bold, which I think is lovely. We've got the navy background. Bit of a theme actually going on here. I'd not realised with the different navy fabrics. And then we've got all these nice colours in here as well. Wearing bright colours really makes me feel happy. Now, particularly at this time of year as well, when the weather's getting a little bit colder. And I found that in the shops on the high street, things do seem to look quite dark at the moment, you know, quite sort of grey and kind of muted tones. Whereas I actually love to be bright, I love to be colourful. So making your own clothes is a fantastic way of being able to choose your own fabrics and, you know, wear exactly what you want to, basically. So yes, so I have taken the liberty of cutting the top off at the high waist. And then I've added on a simple gathered skirt to the bottom of this skirt. So I will put in some video footage of me actually wearing this so that you get a bit of a better look. But I tend to wear this with thick black tights at the moment, but I think it would also be perfect to wear in winter time as well. But it's a really lovely dress. It's got a really nice neckline at the back as well. So I really recommend this one. I think it's been described as a kind of fashion forward top by, I think on the Fold Line website I saw that term. I don't know if Friday Pattern Company have used that term as well, but I think, you know, it certainly is different to other things that I've got in my wardrobe already, and that's because of this sweeping neckline, the little details like the elastic around the top, and these beautiful sleeves as well. So I think at this time of the year, if you want something that's a little bit special that you can also dress down, then this dress is a really good one to go for. Of course, in terms of adding on the skirt, you could add on a pleated skirt if you fancied instead. You could perhaps put on a circle skirt. I just went for the straightforward gathered skirt. So you could perhaps use a gathered skirt from another pattern, or you could make your own pattern pieces, you know, whatever works for you. Now this pattern is actually available from a size extra small all the way through to 4X. I actually made my version in a size medium, and I found that was fine. I didn't need to make any changes when I made the actual top version. What I've actually made the dress version, because I wanted it to be slightly more fitted from the underarm down to my high waist, where I was going to be adding on the skirt. I have actually taken it in more at the side seams by probably an extra 2 centimeters on each side, just because this is a very stretchy fabric, and I wanted to make sure that it kind of stretched really nicely across my kind of chest and down into my waist. But that is personal preference, so just depends on, you know, how you like your fit and what you wanted your dress to actually look like. But I think this would be an ideal one also to put a little belt round it. You could wear a thick belt round it, but a chunky cardigan in winter time with some boots or shoes, or I wear a lot of Converse, that kind of thing. Anything like that would be ideal, and you kind of look put together, if you know what I mean, but actually you are wearing something that's really comfortable, that you can get away with for any occasion. I would say it was actually trial and error getting the measurements right on this pattern for me in terms of the dress, because I wanted to make sure that the bodice section wasn't too long. So I would recommend kind of pinning your skirt in place with the bodice to begin with, before you go ahead and overlock and whatnot, or if you're sewing it on your sewing machine, however you're going to make this, just to make sure that you are happy with the fit and how long your bodice etc. is before you sew your beautiful fabric. I got there in the end, it was well worth it, and I actually went to a sewing day with some friends, and a couple of them were kind of like helping me to actually get the fit right. But of course you could do it yourself at home, I'm sure, and you'd be absolutely fine. But I'm really loving this dress now. I've worn it so much. It's been in and out of the washing machine, and it's a great one. So the final dress that I wanted to tell you about today is another little hack that I've done, which is really simple and you can definitely try yourself at home. And that is going back to the first pattern that I talked about with the Friday Pattern Company Lucida dress, and I've added on the Tilly and the Buttons Billy balloon sleeves from the jumper / dress pattern. So here it is. Again, I will put in some footage of me wearing this dress so you can actually see what it looks like on. So again, I've used a really bright viscose fabric to actually make this dress, and honestly I'm so pleased with how this has worked out. You know, you have a bit of an idea, a bit of a vision in your mind of how something might work. And I was going out for some afternoon tea and some shopping with a couple of friends, and I decided I was going to make myself a new dress. So hey presto, here it is. And I felt lovely in it all day long. Unfortunately, I didn't get any good pictures when I was actually out, but since I've recorded a bit of video footage of me actually wearing it so you can see. And I actually forgot to tell you when I was talking about the Lucida dress before that the back section is actually finished with a top stitch just around the top neckline there. So all you do is kind of fold it under a couple of times and then top stitch it. So I used a twin needle just along the back neckline there to actually finish that off, but you could use another stretch stitch on your sewing machine if you prefer. The Billy sleeves fitted onto here really, really nicely. I'll talk about that in 1 second. But the front of the bodice is actually finished with a lining or facing on the inside. So I would call it a lining probably rather than a facing. So it actually goes the full length of the bodice. And that's because you need to create this channel at the front to feed the bow ties through. As I said earlier, the bow tie section is actually quite simple to do as long as you follow the instructions. I find that Friday Pattern Company instructions are very good, so as long as you read those and follow them, you know, you'll be absolutely fine. They include illustrations as well as words, which I find quite useful. I do quite like a picture and it kind of guides me through the process a little bit. But the sleeves, so I made the size 3 probably in Tilly and the Button sizes, which is roughly a UK size 10, and the actual bodice on the Lucida dress on this one is actually the medium at the shoulder, because I found that actually worked out quite nicely for me. And then I've braided down to a size small as we move through the bodice. And then I did a size small around the waist. And then for the skirt, I've actually graded out to a medium. So it's a kind of medium / a small / medium size dress, this one. But the sleeves went on really nicely because it's quite a lot of gathering just around the upper arm there. And because it's a balloon sleeve finished with that lovely cuff at the bottom, again with some gathering around the cuff area, it's gone on to this dress perfectly. There was no faffing around. There was no, you know, trying to ease it in or anything like that. So the two patterns actually work really well together. So if you are looking for a jersey dress to make for, you know, autumn, winter time, and you want to get something that's kind of comfortable and perhaps you've got both patterns, have a go, join them together, because it has worked so nicely. Again, for the length of the skirt, this time I've actually added on 4 inches just because I wanted to see what it was actually like a little bit shorter. It's not a lot shorter, it still comes to around about my knee area, and potentially when I've not got a baby bump anymore, then it might be actually a little bit longer on me, but I could make a decision at that point if I wanted to make it a little bit shorter or not. But because this has got a long sleeve, it is going to be a lot warmer to wear at this time of the year. Again, you could put a jumper over the top of it and make it look more like a skirt, or you can wear a chunky cardigan with it. It looks nice with a chunky necklace. You know, you can really make it look wintry if you want to. And again, it comes down to fabric choice as well. What kind of thing you make it in terms of the fabric could actually change the whole look of this dress. So I'm going to have a go at doing this exact pattern hack again, joining the two patterns together, and I'm going to be using a stretch bright blue velvet fabric again, because I loved the velvet version that I showed you previously in the video. So I just thought I'm going to have a go at making a plain version. My brother is getting married in December, so I would love a new dress to go to the wedding, and I just thought I want something that kind of looks Christmassy, but around about the time when the wedding is, I may or may not have had the baby, so I want to make sure that I've got something comfortable that I can wear that also, you know, will look nice. So I just thought making this in a stretch velvet would be perfect for Christmas time, but also, you know, it'd make me feel quite nice as well. I've bought myself some sparkly trainers. I know that probably sounds a bit random for a wedding, but I've been to a few weddings where people have worn really, really glittery trainers with ribbon ties through them rather than laces, and they just look so pretty and dainty. And I just felt like at that point I'm probably not going to want to wear high heels or anything that's uncomfortable on my feet, so I just thought buying myself some cute little trainers would actually be the best choice. So I think they'll probably work quite nicely with a dress of this sort anyway, and you know, if it's really cold I can maybe put a little jacket on it or something like that. Not really sure yet, not thought that far ahead. But yes, back to this dress. So I would just highly recommend it, to be honest, if you are looking for something new to try. I know a few people on Instagram, and I think a couple of people on here on my YouTube channel have talked about that they'd forgotten all about the Lucida dress. So you know, if that's you, or you maybe not even heard of the pattern because it's an older one, you know, do have a go at making it, because you probably surprise yourself and really like it. I think when it first came out I was a little bit unsure, like if it was going to be for me or not, but a friend of mine was wearing a version, and I just thought, oh, that looks good, I want to give that a go. And yes, I'm really pleased that I tried it, so hopefully you will be as well. But I hope you've enjoyed watching today's video and seeing the 3 different dresses that I think work perfectly for winter time if you are looking to make yourself something new. If you are working on something at the moment in terms of a sewing project or craft project, I'd love to know what you are actually doing, so do leave me a message down below in the comment section, because I do find that quite inspiring. You know, inspires me to make new things in the future as well. And if you've got any feedback about anything that I've shown in today's video, or you've got any questions, then again leave me a message and I'll try and get back to you as quick as I can. But until next time, I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I always enjoy having a chat with you, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.